reopening the public hearing, beginning with 25 CUP 150. Molly.
Molly Clark, Office of Planning Staff, 444 South 5th Street, Louisville, Kentucky, 40202. Let's go to the next slide. So today we're looking at a conditional use permit for a transitional home in the R5 single family zoning district. Next slide. The site zoned R5 single family in the traditional neighborhood form district. The applicant's requesting a conditional use permit for a transitional home. Just clarifying, this is not a zoning change. I got a bunch of comments claiming it was a zoning change. I also gave you all a packet of interested party comments as well. This is a single family home with 3 bedrooms. The applicant's proposing 6 residents. The applicant needs relief from item F regarding the 30 feet to property line requirement in the CUP. There are no other approved group housing permits within 1,000 feet. Next slide. Here's an aerial of the subject site, the existing single family home on Laughlin Avenue. Next slide. This is showing the zoning, R5 traditional neighborhood. Next slide. This is showing the subject site on Laughlin Avenue, the front. Next slide. This is across the street from on Laughlin Avenue, which is DeSales High School. Next slide. This is the floor plan showing the 3 bedrooms and the square footage of each bedroom. Next slide. So the existing building's closer than 30 feet to the property line. Relief's needed for item F. There are no other approved group housing permits within 1,000 feet of the subject site. Next slide. So required actions are to approve or deny the conditional use permit for a transitional home in the R5 single family residential zoning district. The last page of the staff report printed out weird. It didn't show it. It printed out some weird image that has nothing to do with this case. So on the slides, I've put the conditions of approval up for you. It's the typical 3 conditions of approval that we put on transitional homes. Do you all have any questions for me?
I have a question. A lot of the opposition brought up the fact that this was close to a school. Mm-hmm. Other than the 1,000 feet between transitional homes, there is no distance requirement.
Yeah, there's no separation requirement between schools and transitional homes in the conditional use permit.
For anything other than another transitional home, is that right? Okay.
That's correct.
Other questions for Molly?
Yes.
Yes.
Molly, I may have been confused by some of the commentary from the public, and certainly not contained in the staff report, but is there a sense that it's currently being used as a transitional home, but with an occupancy level lower than what would be required for a CUP?
That it's currently operating?
Yes.
Yeah, it's currently operating. I believe it's less than 3 people. I would ask the applicant on that, how many they currently have.
Because there was an indication that based on current activity, there was some concern expressed by the neighbors. Thank you.
Okay. Don't believe there are any questions at this time, Molly. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I have 3 speaker cards in support of the application. If all 3 of you want to speak,
I'll go first.
or do the others, is there a possibility they could speak? Because if there is, I'll swear you all in.
Group swearing.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Name and address, please.
Brian McCarthy, 8006 National Turnpike, Louisville, Kentucky, 40214.
Aaron Gayhafer, 10950 Fashion Way, number 3, Louisville, Kentucky, 40272.
Okay,
Francis Bose, 8006 National Turnpike, Louisville, Kentucky, 40214.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give today, sir, is the truth?
I do.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. McCarthy, you're going to start?
Yes.
Okay,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
So I'm one of the owners, I have the other 2 owners here of Bluegrass Recovery Center. We're an outpatient substance abuse facility on the south end on National Turnpike. And today is about Recovery House on Laughlin Ave. And, a big a big part of our client's success is contingent upon safe and supervised recovery housing. And what we found in Louisville, there's a few things. One, there's a limited amount of recovery house beds available. Two, a lot of them are in the West End, they're not in the South End. And three, a lot of them aren't quality recovery houses. Hence our intention here today to get Laughlin approved as one of our own recovery houses. So the residents that would be staying at the property at Laughlin are in a little bit of a unique situation considering we provide outpatient substance abuse treatment. So the residents there would only be at the house at nighttime and on Sundays. So for the most part, they're receiving and have to be engaged in clinical care at our office between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. So they're really only there for dinner time and to sleep there at nighttime. So, I know there's been a significant amount of concern and questions, and I'm happy to address all of them. I think the number one concern was the size of the property. So it shows online that it's only 1,000 square feet, but there was actually an addition put onto the house and it's 1,500 square feet. So there's almost 600 square feet of bedroom space available for our residents. And our intention was to max it at, a 6 occupancy. A second being the close proximity to a school. Like I said, it ties back to the fact that our clients aren't even there during the day. They wouldn't have any interaction with any of the school students. While they're in our program, they're supervised by staff 24 hours a day. They're transported to and from our clinical program. Any activities outside of clinical services, they're supervised and transported by our staff. So there would be really limited interaction with anything related to the school.
So are they not allowed back in the property during the day? Are they
During
required?
the day, they're at the clinical office from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And at that time, they're engaging in group therapy, individual therapy, medication management. It's almost like a school day for them where they're receiving, treatment services throughout the day. And then they're transported back to the house after services at 4 o'clock.
Okay, so they would not have the option of going back to the house during the 8 to
Correct.
4 period. Okay. All right. And currently there are 3 individuals.
There's currently 3. So when we first started, we didn't realize that we had to go through this process. Our assumption really was that we just had to get certified by the Kentucky Recovery House Association, which we did go through that application process. And because they were so backed up with scheduled inspections, we were just waiting for them to basically schedule the inspection to come out and view the property until we got notified that this was required. Once we did, we went through the process and been working with Molly since to do everything we're supposed to do in order to move forward appropriately.
So is there still an active enforcement case on this property?
What was that?
Is there still, and maybe this is a question for Molly, an enforcement case on this property?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Miss.
Is there still an enforcement case on this property?
There's a shelter enforcement case because they haven't got the license yet for 3 people.
Okay. And that may be what you were speaking in relation to. Okay. So the license is pending, is that correct? That process has been started?
No, so I was under the assumption that we have to go through this process first, and then we start doing the building analysis and construction review. We started working on the building analysis related to this property, but that's contingent upon approval from today's meeting, from what I understand. But there hasn't been any construction or renovations or anything done to their property, only cosmetic upgrades.
So how many residents are at this property today?
3.
3. Okay, because one of your letters of support makes reference that he was housed there with 3, which would make 4. So have you reduced it?
Yeah, so once we became aware of that this process was required, we dropped it down to 3.
Okay, thank you.
And we've also talked to both the adjacent neighbors to the left and right of the property, and both are in support of what we're doing. We held the neighborhood meeting, which was scheduled a little over about 6 weeks ago. 3 people showed up, 2 of which were the property owners adjacent to Laughlin Ave. And after we explained, our process and organization, what our intentions and proposed use were, everybody seemed to be in support of it. And then I'm assuming the neighborhood association then put together their own meeting to discuss it. And that's when we started receiving some of the complaints that are in front of you guys today.
So you were not at that meeting?
What's that?
Correct? You were not at that
We
neighborhood?
didn't even know
second
about it.
meeting?
No one notified us about it. No one contacted us regarding it. We haven't heard any complaints directly from any of the residents.
Okay. And this gets back to Member Lewis's question about the number of people. So you have someone in the house in the evenings? Is
Yeah,
there?
so we have staff. So we have our behavioral health tech staff that are certified in CPR and life safety requirements, and they're with the clients during the day while they're in treatment services, and then at nighttime they're available and supervising our clients in housing.
So is one of the 6 like a resident supervisor, or are they all 6 patients?
It was only 3. Yeah.
What was that?
Here's 6. He's asking for 6,
Yeah,
but he's
okay.
got 3 now.
Right.
But the question
if-
still stands.
If you get the approval for 6 residents, are any of those 6 going to be an evening supervisory person, or are they on their own unless there's an emergency and they have to call for?
Yeah, so none of the 6 residents would be in a supervisory position. So the people that are supervising are behavioral health techs that are employed by Bluegrass Recovery Center. So no, if that answers your question, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a clarification, make sure I understood. This INA board that met, is that what you said? You didn't know it took place and you weren't there?
The Iroquois neighborhood meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, we were never notified about that meeting. No one's reached out to us directly. I'd be happy to talk to any residents, and everyone had the opportunity to do so with our neighborhood meeting. We sent mailers out to the whole community.
And how many people attended your neighborhood meeting?
Just 3, and 2 of which were the property owners that are adjacent to us.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
one question. So does Bluegrass Recovery Center operate transitional homes elsewhere in the metro area?
No.
This is your only one?
So this one is we have one other one on Woodlawn Ave that we're currently in the building analysis construction review stage in. That property, we're going through the process right now, but it's this one and Woodlawn, and we're both in the approval stages of the process.
And the other one is not fully constructed or occupied yet?
No, it's vacant.
Pardon me?
It's currently vacant.
Currently vacant. Thank you.
I have a question. Some of these letters talked about the Laughlin house, and then they talk about I think Talbot House is what they called it. Yeah. So what's the difference in those 2?
I'm not sure what they're referring to. I believe they're referring to another similar recovery house, but I'm not sure.
I can answer that.
Sure.
So what we have is different than the Talbot House. The Talbot House is considered like a halfway house for men for men. While they're here at our facility, in the beginning stages of recovery, they're not yet ready for a place like the Talbot House. A lot of our guys, we work with the Talbot House so that once they leave our facility and they're done with the treatment phase, then they can move on to the Talbot House. None of our guys are allowed to work yet. Because like Ryan described, they're in classes all day, every day, 6 days a week. They don't have any vehicles or anything that are parked on the property or anything like that. Once they move on to a place like the Talbot House, they're allowed more freedom. They're allowed to walk or ride bikes around the neighborhood, which our clients are not allowed to do. They're also allowed to have jobs. The Talbot House allows their clients to attend meetings on their own. The only meetings that our clients are allowed to go to is if they're accompanied by staff members.
So is the Talbot House owned by a different organization than yours?
Yeah, the Talbot House is a nonprofit organization down in Louisville.
Okay, thank you.
And the occupants of your house are not allowed to be out in the neighborhood, is that correct?
No, ma'am, they're not.
Okay, okay,
I'm Aaron. I'm the housing director. So I'm the one who personally oversees the staff members that supervise our houses. I'm also at the house location, once, maybe twice a day. Our facility is a little bit different than most of what people think about these things. They think about a halfway house where guys are just living for long periods of time. And that's not what we are. We are set up for the first phase of their development when they come into recovery. We're there to supply or provide clinical support as well as peer support. Our evening staff that goes and sits with the guys at the house and that transports the guys back and forth to meetings. They're peer support specialists, so they're in recovery as well. You know, they've been sober a length of time. You know what I mean? So I think some of the letters that y'all have from our past residents, these are success stories. These are guys that I'm a success story. I got 3 years of sobriety, and if it wasn't for a house like this, I don't know if I'd be standing here today. Meaning I might not be alive. Like I definitely wouldn't be standing here trying to do the right thing and submitting applications to do this the right way. But we have our own success stories with these guys. A couple of those letters are from one of those guys now is employed as a full-time peer support staff member and a behavioral health technician at our facility. These guys they don't have the freedom to just run off and do whatever we want. We understand that that's not what works. These guys are required. They have strict guidelines that they have to follow. I'm just here in support of this, not only as a staff member, but as a member of the community. Like I watch these guys. There's a lady that's a little older that lives next door, and she lives by herself, and she has a couple dogs. And every time that I pull up in the mornings to get our guys that are there and bring them to class or to drop them off, they're over there taking her garbage out or helping her carry groceries in. She was one of the people that was at the neighborhood meeting that we had, and she loves the guys. She finds some security in the fact that there's a couple of guys living next door. She feels protected. She feels the couple that lives on the other side of her, which were also at the neighborhood meeting that we held. I mean, the guys get along great with them. They're in full support, and they couldn't be here, unfortunately. But so I'm just here to support and give any kind of. We understand the concerns because when you think about a halfway house, you just think about guys that are maybe in trouble or going to get themselves out of hot water for a while, and that's just not what this is. So I just wanted to stand up here and answer any questions or any concerns that I understand, definitely.
So how do your residents, how are they going to get referred to you?
So before they ever come to our facility, we require them to go through a residential treatment, like either a detox facility to where they're coming off of drugs and alcohol, so that the medical care is provided for them, because we don't offer that. So by the time they come to us, they've usually went through a detox phase as well as at least a 28-day residential program. So they're a little further on than somebody that would just be coming in off the street or they're a little further along in that development.
but how are they referred to you? How do they know about your facility?
So they'll either find us in, through the community online or other referring healthcare providers.
Okay.
Another thing that wasn't mentioned too, all the clients that are residing in this house, they're all clean and sober and have been for multiple months. They're not coming directly off the street or hospital programs. They've already been in residential treatment centers, and they have 30, 60 days plus clean. And then in addition to that, they're drug tested and given urinalysis testing multiple times a week. And if there is a positive result from one of those tests, then we then refer them to a higher level of care. So at no point in time do we ever have anybody in our houses that are actively using drugs and alcohol.
And and maybe you said this and I missed it, how long have you been operating with the 3 residents? How long have you been in operation?
I
this-
think
at
it's
this
about 2
location?
months, 3 months.
Okay, 3 months. All right. And clarify for me your role, Mr. McCarthy.
What was that?
Clarify your role for me, your role in.
I'm now
You're with-
one of the owners.
Okay.
Owners of the residence or owners of the recovery program? You own the real estate or Bluegrass Recovery?
Owner of the Bluegrass Recovery Center.
And how long has that been in existence?
Just under 2 years.
Approximately how many people are you serving currently?
So our max capacity census is typically around 30 or 35. We don't like to go above that for quality of care reasons. But we've treated hundreds of people at this point since we opened.
Okay. So I just want to clarify a couple of things. So there's 6 residents in the house, right? I mean, if this is approved,
Ideally.
there's currently 3. Okay. We've established that. If this is approved, you're going to have 6 residents and then also a nighttime staff person there. So 7 nighttime residents, is that?
Correct.
Okay.
There will be a 7th in-house.
7 in the house, but the 7th, the employee that's there supervising, he wouldn't be sleeping at the property.
So it'd be like a 11 to 7 type shift, third shift.
Oh, so there,
That's what I do. I supervise the guys that'll be,
The microphone, please.
Come up to the microphone and speak there.
Yes, I'm
So
sorry.
we can record
so
it.
that's what I do at Bluegrass. Along with operations, I will be supervising the guys that work in our evening shifts as well as our day shift. So there's guys not only that transport the guys back and forth, but guys that are on location a lot of the time. They, like you said, they don't sleep there and they won't be living at the residence. But we're on call 24/7 for any type of emergencies. If that answers your question.
It just, if they're going to, it doesn't seem clear yet if there's 6 residents, then is somebody with them from 4 or 5 o'clock when they get back from their classes? Will there be a supervisor or an employee to stay in the house until 8 o'clock?
Yeah, so they're transported back from our clinical office and then they're brought back. And at that time, they kind of wind down, relax, make dinner, have dinner together. The staff tech, Aaron, is there with them throughout that process. And then we might take them out to go to a 12-step meeting. But yeah, for the most part, they're there supervised and have availability to our staff after hours.
Okay. But they're not they don't have to stay in the house with the residents. The residents are supposed to stay in the house once they get back, correct?
Yeah, the residents stay there. They have to stay there unless they're transported out or taken somewhere by one of our employees.
Right. But after the last activity, whether it's go out for dinner or
Yeah.
whatever, there's not a staff person on site unless they would have to be called from outside to come in for a situation.
No, they're there for the most part. Then they might do rounds and stop back at the office to do some other things, but we have cameras set up. But for the most part, they're there and spending time with the clients at nighttime throughout that third shift period.
Okay. Thank you.
They're very rarely not with a staff member.
So you mentioned that the 3 residents have you've had 3 men at the house for a couple of months. Did you say a couple of months? Okay, but you've treated other residents in the past, not residents, but other men with similar considerations in the past.
Yeah, so not everybody that goes through our program is typically, necessarily in a recovery house. We have clients that are actively, engaged in full-time employment, and they're coming, during the day or at nighttime for services. And then we have other clients that might be staying in other recovery houses. But our intention, in order to be able to provide, a safe and supervised and quality experience for them from a residential perspective, we've had to set up recovery houses so that we can kind of control that process and provide a level of care that we're comfortable with.
Your litany of your do's and don'ts is the most thorough one I've ever seen. It's 12 pages of rules and regulations and all that. So
yeah, it's pretty extensive. And then we also follow all the guidelines that are distributed by the Kentucky Recovery House Association as well. And then our organization is also accredited by the Joint Health Commission, which is a whole nother set of accreditations for healthcare facilities. So.
Okay, any other questions?
There's just one thing that's come up with a lot of these cases. Are there violent offenders or sexual offenders? Is there a policy against accepting those?
So yeah, we have one of our policies is that we don't accept sexual offenders into our program. Now we do have clients that are convicted felons and do have criminal histories, but as far as sexual offense, that's the criteria that would disqualify them from our program.
Okay.
Okay, I believe that's all the questions for now.
Thank you for your time, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. I did have a speaker. Mr. Bose, were you interested in testifying?
My name's Frankie. Just want to say thank you for your time. I filled out the slip just so I know Ryan can't hear that well sometimes, but I just want to say, just to speak on what we do and how we feel about it. Ryan did a good job, and so did Aaron, talking about how structured we are and how we believe in a clinically sound program, but it's also matched with the same amount as loving care. And we really love what we do. We love providing a great atmosphere for people to recover, for them to be able to change their lives. We want nothing more than to see people in the community grow, love being an inspiration and leading by example. Running a very structured facility with good team, with good staff that believes in the same vision, and just running a really good drug and alcohol program. And there's nothing more that we would love to do. A quick little story is me and one of the partners, Mike, I actually met him in detox when I was 22, 19 years ago. I went to one treatment center. I walked in. He was there about 3 or 4 days, and we found our calling. We've been doing this for almost 20 years together, and it's not about money. It's not about passion. I have 3 kids. I have to make a living for myself, but there's nothing more that we love to do but wake up to go to work and try to ignite the flame of somebody to change our lives. People did that for us. We were in very similar houses that were very structured. We got broken in this way, and we take it very serious. We want to get the houses licensed because we want to provide a structured environment, but also operate at the higher standard possible. So we put ourselves in these situations to come here and face you guys and be a part of the conversation because we want to be held to a high standard. We really do. We want to be the model. We want to be what it could look like if you do everything right, follow all the rules. You don't need to put a lot of people in a house, a good living. Like we create houses that we would all live in. We don't want to put 12 people in there. We don't want to jam people in there. We want to run a good, efficient house that has enough room that they're all very happy to be there. And also encourage them to, when they're done at our program, to actually be excited to go to another facility to extend their care and keep moving on forward. And we try to do that every single day. We show up to work happy every single day. We're happy to be here. Anytime we get an opportunity to speak about what we do, whether it's a tough situation or not, we'll always stand here and be very prideful and really talk about what we love to do. And I really appreciate all the questions you've been asking. They were great questions. I feel like they did a good job answering them. And we really look forward to growing with this community and working with Little On and getting another house added to this so we could just be a nice, like they said, a nice size center with about 35 people in it that we could really provide intimate care, know everybody's name that's in the center, get to know their loved ones if need be, do family therapy. But when you walk in our center, we could tell you about every single client who's there. We know them by name. They know us, and they're happy to be a part of the system that we're creating. But I just want to say thank you, and we appreciate all the questions and everything.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So in that regard, and thanks for your testimony and the explanations you've offered, I would just offer you a couple of suggestions or observations. Number one, as you might imagine, there's only two kinds of neighborhoods out there as it regards to transition homes, those that have opposed them and those that will oppose them. So you're not unique in that case, and you shouldn't take it personally.
That's right.
Likewise, most of that opposition, as you can tell, maybe you haven't had a chance to review all the feedback and pushback from the neighborhood. There's two kinds of pushback. That kind of pushback are concerns that are well-informed, and those which probably fall short of being well-informed, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about the difference between a halfway house, a transition house, people that are in recovery, people that are out of recovery. It is not the responsibility of city government, let alone this board, to inform the public of all of those nuances and subtleties. That's your job. That's your burden. And so we get caught up in people's confusion and still have to try to make an informed decision. It makes it much more difficult, but it's of no consequence to us. It's a consequence to the property owner or the entity that owns the provider of services. So I just want to let you know that. And one of the takeaways should be that even if this board ultimately approves this conditional use permit, you should still feel some obligation to go back to the community that has expressed in great detail, breadth and depth of concerns about this kind of facility being located down the street from them, and help them overcome those misconceptions and gain a greater comfort level in your ongoing presence, because this is not a permanent CUP. There are conditions attached to it which could ultimately lead to it being vacated. You have to take all that into consideration. This is not a one and done regardless. And I'm not speaking for the rest of my board members because I don't know how they're going to vote. But you cannot take this as a one and done. This is going to be an ongoing effort to build that kind of relationship with the neighbors in that community.
Yes, we look forward to that journey, to be honest with you. That's some of the things that I really like just going through this process. I met with a few people and I already have a better understanding of the community and what people's thoughts are. And it actually excites me to get to be well-known in the community and provide the services and just become more part of that community. Actually, it's part of the job that we actually really love to do. Thank you for explaining that.
Have you reached out to the sales, the schools, since there seemed to be quite a few comments
Yes.
about?
So I'm the CEO of Bluegrass Recovery Center. I reached out to Mr. Blackwell. We had a good conversation. He said he's very pleased with the information I gave him, said we were very thorough. He didn't say whether.
Blackwell's position, I'm sorry, who is Mr. Blackwell?
Yeah, he's the president of the school, I believe. Yeah. President of the.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Okay,
Right, yep.
I'm sorry,
That's
continue.
fine. I appreciate
Continue.
it. But he was very pleased. He said I was thorough with all the information. I answered every question right at the time he asked it. He didn't say for or against. The only question he really said was, how long were we operating before we started? He said it was a positive that no one knew we existed in that short period of time, the 2 or 3 months that we were doing it. And he just said, he's going to ask around. He didn't say yes or no, but we had a great conversation and I felt like he supported it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other question? Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. We have Ms. Ramser on the phone speaking in opposition. Ms. Ramser?
Yes, hi.
Hi, good afternoon. Name and address, please.
Ann Ramser, P.O. Box 14243, Louisville, Kentucky 40214. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Ms. Ramser?
Yes.
If you're able to turn your camera on, please do so.
I tried to figure this out. Wait a minute, it does say start video. Does that work?
Start video should work.
Okay. Can you see me now?
We cannot, but we will proceed without it.
Okay, thank you. I apologize.
Yes.
Again,
raise your right hand.
Yes,
And do you swear the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
I do.
All right, please proceed.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. And if I'm the only one that's speaking in opposition today, I'm going to request extra time. I had a nice little thing, jotted my notes down before we started, and then.
You do have 15 minutes.
Thank you.
Yes, please proceed.
Listening to them, the applicants, I had more issues come up. They stated that the men were supposed to stay in the house, but then talked about the residents helping the neighbors. That seemed contradictory to me. I am absolutely not clear about the supervision at night, how often they're there, if they're awake, if they're not. I mean, it just seems like it bounced around. That there are nighttime athletics at DeSales quite a bit, so there would be interaction between the students and the residents, after they got back. The 30-foot rule, as you know, I don't like that one gets waived or whatever the term it is. And in this case, at least on 3 sides of the house, that 30-foot is not met. And I'm not sure it's met in the back. And this one's very appropriate when you think that you have students so close. And then they also said that, and I understand this, in the PVA, it does say that the size of the house, which does include the addition, is less than 1,100 square feet. I looked at their diagram, and based on their diagram, it's less than 1,300 square feet, and the gentleman said it was 1,500. So that was just some points that I got while I was listening to them. Now I'm going to go back to my points that I had before. I need to let you know that I live less than a half mile from this location. And for a reason, one reason only. I am on Laughlin Avenue for a very short distance almost every day of the week. I am on it for more than just a short distance occasionally. So I'm very familiar with Laughlin Avenue. I did attend the neighborhood meeting that occurred on April 29th. I did not attend the Iroquois Neighborhood Association meeting, so I don't know what happened there. But at the April 29th meeting, I asked the applicant about local licensing, if they had it, and they told me it was not required. And I said, I'm sorry, but I believe that it is, but I will check on that. And I did talk or correspond with Molly Clark, and she said, yes, they need that group housing license through construction review. So that was when they got the enforcement shelter action. The first one with that was from May 16th of 2025. And according to the information, there was a citation issued on August 8th, 2025. Now, that one's on your staff report, but they've got 2 other enforcement actions. One was a notice of violation was issued on January 17th, 2025. And that was the one that said they had too many people there. At least that's my understanding. And that case number is in enforcement zoning 25-00038. On July 24th, 2025, they got it was a property maintenance issue. And that one is ENF-PMNT 25-013-708-2. And that was regarding a railing needing painting, and it wasn't high enough for the property or for the location on the porch. So that's 3 separate violations on this property. And I've stated this before. I think your applicant needs to know what the law is and understand what the law. If you look at your staff report on the page 1 under technical review, it indicates that supporting services is to help achieve personal independence. Well, to me, being personally independent, you need to know and understand what laws are. And this applicant didn't. Even when I told them at the neighborhood meeting that I was pretty sure there was local licensing required, no. So there's a problem with that. Now, if you could bring the diagram of the house up again, there's some issues with that house. Is that possible? Can we get that back up? Okay. From this diagram, hold on, I only see two egress doors. There's one going into the living room and one going into that back bedroom. Those are the only two egress doors that I see. So if there's a fire, are all six of these in front of the house, are all six of these inmates going to be going through that third bedroom and out that back door at night? What if somebody...
They're not inmates.
Oh, excuse me. I apologize. I should not have said that. And you're correct. Residents. Are all of these six residents plus possibly a supervisor going to be traipsing through this third bedroom out that back door? And if so, I mean, I know people that throw their bed covers off in the middle of the floor. So, what are they going to be tramping over in the middle of the night? The next issue, as I see it, is it does not look like there's a door to that third bedroom. It looks like there is a large opening space there. And that's my concern, are the two residents that are going to be in that third bedroom, are they going to be changing clothes with anyone in the kitchen that can see them? I have concerns about that. And plus, with that back door, will all six of the men be allowed to use that and be going through the bedroom of the two residents that are assigned to that bedroom? Okay. Then the house rules and the management plan, and somebody brought this up. I know that it was attached to the agenda, but I was advised this morning that you don't actually see hard copies of it. So I'm going to try my best to reference them. Under the procedure section, this is the number 3 enforcement. We've got it. If staff will monitor, they did say that they're going to put cameras up. They didn't say where they were going to put cameras. And somehow they're going to have supervision, but it's not clear to me. Then under section 4, medicine management, number 2 said secure storage, says a designated secure area will be provided for medication storage. I don't see that identified on the diagram. It says access to medications will be under supervision, but it doesn't say how and when. I mean, some medications need to be taken late at night, some early in the morning. On the applicant's proposal letter to the Office of Planning, it says that the applicant will follow federal and state guidelines. Doesn't say anything about following local guidelines, which is of great concern because they've already stated, they didn't even know what the local guidelines were. Apparently, they didn't bother to check them out. I have real concerns here. There's some issues. I think there's a safety issue in the house. The 30-foot rule is being ignored, and I think this is relevant here when you think how close it is to the school. This may have been what the Metro Council was talking about when they put that 30-foot rule in. I also have concerns that there's 3 different enforcement actions in less than, January to July, 7 months? And they were all different types. So I have some real concerns about this particular proposal, and I request that you deny it, and I'm available for any questions.
Questions for Ms. Ramser?
I have a question for staff, maybe the attorney. See if there's any questions for her first.
I don't believe there are any. I have a question for the attorney.
Yeah.
Attorney Ferguson.
And in terms of what this board is responsible for, is licensing and egress of the structure and medication schedules, is that of any concern to us, or is that We're just on the land use.
Yeah,
part
no,
of
I
this.
mean, the medication schedule, that's their program, that's their business. As far as ingress and all that goes, that's reviewed by construction review with that license application. So that's already being looked at by the other department in that
And
process.
could be turned down regardless of what this board does,
Yes, I
correct?
mean, like if they found that they could not possibly meet ingress and egress rules or any other like building permit things, then they could deny, they could deny a license or a permit for those sorts of things,
So
a change of use.
so
That-
there's several things that others are going to be evaluating, which could get a no regardless of what this
Right,
board
like
does. You're looking at the land use part of it, correct?
Exactly. We look at land use part and the building department is going to be looking at all those health and safety things such as egress and fire safety things. I know they look at the distance of each, like the furthest point of each bedroom to the nearest point of egress. I know that's one of the main things they look at when they're reviewing those processes. And there's other things that they have to look at, So, I mean, it might be possible that within that process, beyond our approvals, there could be changes to a property that's requested prior to being allowed to get their change of use or other things like that. So that's the kind of thing they're going to be looking at with the construction review office.
Okay, so we're only looking at a floor plan from the standpoint of it seems that there's a reasonable amount of space to accommodate the 6 they're asking for. That's all we're using it for.
Right. That's what's regulatory with land development code in this instance is that we have a minimum amount of bedroom space per occupant that's what's regulated. And that's what those numbers are meant to display.
Okay, and are those numbers been verified or is that yet to be done? I mean, if
I don't
somebody
know.
checks that and it's not really the number they've got there?
They're consistent with the dimensions that they show on a plan. I mean, like with any kind of plan that we get, I mean, people report dimensions to us and if they seem reasonable, we accept them as reasonable and move on.
And so is that really a concern of the licensing?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have more, direct inspections by the Office of Construction Review, in that process with the change of use and the licensing, where they will have someone actually from the city go in there and confirm that these measurements and these things are real.
And I'll jump in. Even if you approve it with the condition of approval that they can have up to 6 people, if it gets to the next phase and they say you can't have 6 people, you have 5 people, that will control.
And it'll just move on with
Right.
the 5. Thank you.
We rarely see exceptions to the, we do see exceptions to the 30-foot rule. And the reason is because most of these transitional homes are in existing properties. And those properties are built, they're within 30 feet of the adjacent property.
There are very few existing residential properties in this city that could possibly meet that standard.
That's the
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right, members, yeah. So at this point, we didn't have any questions for Ms. Ramser, so whoever is going to speak for the applicant, you get 5 minutes for rebuttal. Take the opportunity, address the concerns that you've heard today,
To address the most recent concerns?
address the concerns that you heard from Ms. Ramser, and any questions that the board raised that you've not had a chance to.
Yeah, I mean, I
address.
don't have any questions. If there was something specific that she would like me to address, I can. So.
Supervision.
Yeah, so I think I've been very clear on the supervision. We have staff that are supervised in life safety and CPR that are there with the clients when they're not at our facility, when they're at the property mentioned.
And she raised,
Can't hear everything. So, I can guarantee that the patients at the house are not going to be talking or being involved with any school kids at all. She brought the school kids up. That's not going to happen. They're not going to leave the house, go across the street. When she said about they're not allowed to leave the property, they are allowed out front. The neighbors, if she needs help, they will move her trash cans for her. We met her personally, said she could always, ask them if they need trash cans moved or anything like that, but they're not going out. leaving the property, doing anything in the community, not going to stores or anything like that. We provide everything they need and they're comfortable staying at the house location. As far as the staff goes, hopefully I could be clear with the staff. So we have 8-hour shifts for our staff. They're staffed all through the night. They might not, if on their 8-hour shift, they might not spend the whole entire 8 hours at the house. It could be 6.5 hours, and for a half hour, they went to fill up the vans with gas, came back. Maybe they needed a little bit extra food, so they left the house and make something for dinner that night. So when Ryan was saying they're not with the staff for the full 8 hours, it's because they might have to just leave the house for 15 minutes, run to the office. As far as the medication goes, we're held to a criteria through JACO for medication lockers, where we keep the meds at, and all that stuff. We do go through that for the AODE licensing to run the drug and alcohol center. What else were rebuttals?
So a lot of the questions concerning related to like egress and everything related to the interior of the property. So after the stage, we have to go through the whole building analysis and construction review, which at that point, this is a very basic floor plan. At that point, we have to conduct a building analysis, which requires a much more detailed and thorough floor plan with window sill heights and travel egresses and everything you can imagine from a life safety and fire safety perspective. All that will be done in the next stage of this process. As far as some of the other concerns, I don't, I think I spoke to them
But she did.
in a sufficient way.
Yeah, but one concern that Ms. Bramser raised, and she did mention this more than once, was she apparently was at the meeting at one of at the first meeting that you had, and she brought up the issue of a license, the question of a license. So we need to know that you understand the licensing requirements. Apparently, she was under the impression that she was told you do not.
Yeah, so I have to check the sign-in sheet to confirm that she was at the meeting, but I believe it. So we were under the assumption that a recent ordinance just passed that requires this process. Up until then, we would just go through the Kentucky Recovery House Association to get approval for a residential house with less than 8 people in it, particularly 6 people. But as far as licensing and everything that's required to operate this house above board in an efficient manner, we're going through that process, and we'll complete everything that's required in order for this house to be completely licensed.
Okay. All right. Well, it was good to hear that you have had conversations with representatives from DeSales. I'd also encourage you, as Mr. Beta mentioned, as part of outreach, Iroquois Neighborhood Association is another entity that you may want to reach out to and just clarify your role of responsibilities. Things, Iroquois Neighborhood Association. Yes.
I believe Mr. Yates was at the Iroquois Neighborhood Association meeting as the owner of the house. We weren't aware that meeting was going on, but we'd be happy to have any conversation with anybody that's in the vicinity or adjacent to this community. I'm not sure if she lives in the neighborhood, or if she lives close by, or what, but we'd be happy to have a conversation with anybody and do outreach with some of these community associations.
Just as a matter of point, I don't know if this clears up confusion or causes more of it. The way I read this written letter we got from concerning the INA board, they're talking about their board meeting, not just an open meeting to the neighborhood.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
And
Okay.
that may be where the confusion
Yeah,
is.
that makes sense.
I have a feeling it was only the board members that met.
Okay.
That's why nobody knew about the meeting.
Yeah, so it wasn't an open neighborhood.
That would make sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Any other questions? Don't
Appreciate
believe
it,
so.
guys.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. All right. We don't have anybody else. Did you want to speak, sir?
If there's any questions for me, I'd be happy to. I'm also on the property. Like, I tell you.
Okay.
Usually we don't do that, put new testimony in rebuttal. Unless you have a specific reason to do it, I'd advise
Not to. Right.
This year, at the mercy of the board. If it helps,
All right.
I'm here. If not, no worries. And
Thank
good
you.
to see everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Yates. All right. We're closing the public hearing and moving into deliberations on 25 CUP 150, transitional home on Laughlin Avenue. So we've had an opportunity to hear from those involved with Bluegrass Recovery. about how they plan to operate the facility, get some clarification on the residents, the time that they'll be in training sessions, counseling sessions during the day. We've also heard that there will be somebody at the facility, very rare exceptions when they wouldn't be. It would only be for very brief periods of time, but there would be somebody there to provide oversight during the evening when the residents return from their training and counseling sessions.
And it might not hurt if we could put the 3 conditions of approval back
Right.
up since they're not in the staff report.
We're talking to you.
Okay, and there are 3 conditions of approval that are associated with this case, as you see on the screen. What we've also heard is that there is an understanding that there are subsequent steps after this that need to occur after this board makes its decision, makes its recommendation. And any of those could be a go, no-go decision point on the part of other agencies. Okay. All right, members, any discussion? Don't believe so. Don't believe so. Is anyone ready to make a motion based on the staff report, staff testimony, and the testimony you've heard from the applicant as well as those in opposition?
Yes, Madam Chair, on case number 25 CUP 0150, the transition home conditional use permit request for 5014 Laughlin Avenue. I would move that we approve the conditional use permit subject to the conditions of approval that are up on the screen, and that is based on the review, the information and analysis provided by staff, the staff findings and standards of review, the testimony that we've heard from, that we've reviewed both from the neighbors and from the applicant, and also discussion we've had as a board.
And would you including relief from item F?
And that would, in my motion, would include the relief from item F regarding the 30-foot requirement.
Is there a second?
Second, Bozos.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve 25 CUP 150. We're ready to vote.
Ford,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Bozos,
Yes.
Vita,
Yes.
Bond.
Yes, the conditional use permit has been approved. Thank you.
Means a lot.
All right, that was the last case for today. Is there a motion to adjourn?